Welcome, everybody, to the Digital Nomad Experts podcast by Beach Commute. Today, we're going to answer the question, can you find a fully remote job on LinkedIn? And when we say LinkedIn, we're also going to be talking about other remote job boards. We know LinkedIn is probably the most popular one, but you've also got like Remotely, Remote OK, Remote.co. There's a whole bunch of them out there. You've probably seen tons of them. You probably even played around in some of them. But if you're like most people, and a lot of people that write into Beach Commute saying, why is it so hard? Why is it so difficult to find these actual jobs and then land the job? So what Marissa and I are going to do is we're going to try to land a job. We're going to try to go through LinkedIn. We're going to go through the process. And we do this every day. We've got our experts on our team who are constantly scouring and looking for these companies on these remote job boards, but also in our personal and professional networks as well. But we do this as well, and we struggle with you. With that, Marissa, anything to add before we go and just make an absolute mess of things here?
Yeah, I think this is an important question. And again, we're talking about LinkedIn because this topic came up because someone asked me specifically, like, how are you guys doing anything different than what I could just do on LinkedIn? Like, how do you find these remote jobs? So we wanted to go in and just show you like what it's actually like what you're actually going to see. Is it easy to do? Is it hard? And just kind of take a peek behind the curtains of why you may or may not be struggling to find a remote job if you looked on LinkedIn. And also, I just want to say, when you say, can you find a fully remote job on LinkedIn? By this, we mean a fully remote job that lets you work from anywhere. So remote from other countries, remote while you travel, not just fully remote from your home desk in your hometown. So I think that's an important nuance as well that we want to cover.
So first off, I think we should just answer the question. Yeah, you can find a job that lets you work from anywhere on LinkedIn. Problem is, as we're going to see, it's really fucking hard. Like,
I'm not even convinced today.
I'm not even either. We actually, before we even got into this podcast,
it's hard.
before we even got into this podcast, folks, just like to peek behind the curtain, we were trying to find a company to let you work fully remote, and just went round and round in circles. Like, well, okay, hold on. Let me check this. God, this is really vague in the job listing. Let me find the website. Oh, website doesn't have a careers page. Okay, great. Let me look at the job listing on the website. Oh, job listing on the website's different. This one actually says you have to work from San Diego and come in 4 times a year. It's like, oh my, it's like this with most of these damn companies. Yeah. It's just, it's a bait and switch is what it is. I mean, they want to, people get it. Like, companies get it. They want to attract the top talent. A lot of the top talent now wants to work fully remote. So they're just going to put it on LinkedIn on that toggle of fully remote. Yeah. And then you get left with a mess.
Exactly. So yeah, I like that to answer that top line question of the podcast, as you said. It's like, yes, it is absolutely possible, but we're going to show you why. I don't know. It's really, it is a real, we say needle in the haystack often. Like, I want to say it's like 1 in 10,000 jobs probably that you look at is going to be maybe less than that, but, or maybe a couple more than that. I mean, but it's really, really, really hard to find these work from anywhere companies on LinkedIn, on remote job boards. So that's why we focus on what we do. We'll show you some other ways to do it. It doesn't, I would say I don't want this to stop you from thinking that you can or can't find a work from anywhere job. You can, but maybe this isn't the place to look is kind of the overall takeaway. But I want to start. So like when we were going through this, we wanted to say, okay, what if we were a real person who was looking for a job, and what do we see and what's the process that we go through to show you kind of how hard it was? And again, as Jeff said, we were thinking like, oh, we'd eventually spot one and just kind of say, oh, it took us, 7 pages of jobs to scroll through till we found one. I was thinking it might be a little less, but we didn't even find one was the takeaway in this initial search. Like within the last 30 minutes, like Jeff and I both searched for 30 minutes through, I'll tell you the process we did and did not find one. So I think that's important for you to know of like, if you're like, I've searched, I've scoured, I've looked, but I'm still not finding one. This is maybe why you're having this experience. So what we did is we opened up LinkedIn because that was the question that someone asked us to start because it seems like such a good place. There's thousands of job listings. You can toggle by remote. So we said, all right, we're going to open up LinkedIn. We both opened up our own LinkedIns. We said, all right, let's just look for a generic marketing job. Surely there will be something there. Marketing is a common remote job. So we searched for marketing in the little box, press searched, and then you have little boxes you can check. So we toggled through and clicked remote, clicked apply. So theoretically, we should see marketing jobs that are remote. So I think I had 9,848 results. Do you remember what you had, Jeff? It was like 9,000 and something.
I've got it up. It's 9,566.
So why we have 300 different, I don't know. We searched for the exact same thing. Jeff's LinkedIn decided he was in the country of Liberia. Don't know why. We don't know why. So LinkedIn is...
I had to...
I don't even know where you saw that.
I had to close the tab, reopen LinkedIn, and then like clear cookies and cache, and then decided I wasn't in Liberia anymore.
Yeah, so anyway, weird things that might happen to you. But bottom line, there was over 9,000 remote marketing roles hiring today that we came across. So as we were looking, the first thing that I noticed is every role that I was scrolling through at the bottom had a little, like, just you see the kind of top line results before you click into them. Mm-hmm. And every single one of them said it was promoted by LinkedIn. So these are paid promoted roles that are showing up first. It took me scrolling through 5 pages of those to even get to the 6th one that wasn't a paid promoted role. Not that that has to matter, but it's an interesting one just to note that all of these are being paid to promote. But even those, as we clicked through those, so I just said, all right, I'm going to start clicking through these roles and see if I can find a remote from anywhere one. We found far from that. I think what we want to start with is sharing just some of the weird things that we found. And again, Jeff and I have looked at, cannot tell you how many remote, thousands of remote companies, tens of thousands of remote roles that we have scanned through over the years. Like, our trained eyes are experts at this point to look quickly and see, like, is this a work from anywhere role? Is it remote, like from a certain place? Or do you have to go to an office sometimes? And even with us, with our trained eyes, knowing everything we're looking for, still can't, it's just not listed, or it's not clear. So if you've ever looked through and been like, why is this so confusing? Know that it's not your fault. Like, I just want to create rules for companies and be like, just tell us what you mean. Like, is it remote from one location? Is it remote from one state, one country? Is it remote most of the time, but you have to go in? Can you work from any country? Like, just tell us how it is, but they don't. So with that, Jeff, anything you want to add to this process or what you found to start?
Yeah, no, I just want to agree with you and say, hey, if you've struggled to go figure this out on your own, I just spent the last 10 minutes complaining to Marissa, like, I still can't find it. Where does it say? Like, at this point, I don't even care if it's a work from anywhere company. Just show me what it is.
Tell me the truth.
And then yeah, and it's just round and round we go. So
yes,
let's give them an example of what this whole process would theoretically look like.
I clicked through a couple pages and then I just said, all right, I'm going to take this page and I'm going to click through and see what I find. So the first one that I clicked through, again, these all say remote. Like, as you go through, all of them, again, we've toggled for remote. They should be remote. The first one says, so it's remote. And the first one I clicked through, and on the job board on the job page, had to, read through a bunch. And then at the bottom it said, frequent paid travel to our Minneapolis headquarters for company events, team events, and in-person collaboration with teams.
Nope.
Blank stare. That is not a fully remote job, but it is listed as remote. So again, technically, it has some remote capabilities. Maybe a lot of the weeks you can be remote, but sometimes you're traveling to Minneapolis. Sometimes you're going to team events. Sometimes you must collaborate in person. Like, to me, that is not a fully remote role. And especially when you look at the life that, you and I live, that anyone listening is probably trying to, you're probably trying to travel the world, live as a digital nomad, be in Thailand if you want, be in Colombia if you want, go wherever you want. This role is not that. The second one I clicked on said nothing. I literally read through everything that was listed on LinkedIn and could not find anything about remote, not remote, go in person, sometimes never, travel, nothing. I have no idea. I still can't figure it out. The third one, this is one, I read it to Jeff earlier. He started laughing. It says, this company is a remote first organization. Typically when someone says that, it's like, all right, good news, we're talking. And then it said, for this role, we are prioritizing applicants from California, Colorado, Georgia, Massachusetts, New York, and Texas. So you have to think to yourself,
so that's why? Remote second. It's not remote first.
Can you be remote from anywhere? I don't know.
You know what? After going through so many of these careers pages, remote first gets me like 50% of the way there. And then I get a little bit suspicious.
I get a little excited.
I'm like, I do too, because it's starting to clarify the picture. It's like, okay, they're, but now I'm like looking, okay, what exactly does that mean? And you got to really find the fine print.
Yeah, exactly. So that was that. I just want to read 2 more because these were just like a sampling on this page I was looking. The next one said, this role is based remote in the USA. So I'm going to give them points for being clear. I read through and I was able to understand and figure out. So again, if you are just looking for a remote, work from home job, or if you live in the US and that's all you want to be, great. That might work for you. And a lot of people do want that. But again, if you're listening to this podcast, likely you want to travel the world, or at least have the freedom to. Maybe you want to spend time in wherever you're from or your country, but you want the freedom to bop around the world, go to South Africa in January, go to, I don't know, Bali in September, wherever you want to go, right? So that was that. And the third one, this was a little bit less about remote. This page actually had absolutely nothing. I couldn't figure out if it was remote, not. Again, didn't say anything, but this one really got me, and it irked Jeff and I. It says, working at this company won't be easy. But if you like getting your hands dirty, driving results, being surrounded by the best talent, it'll be the most rewarding job you'll ever have. And
rewarding in what way?
Of being a terrible life. I wish, if you're not looking at me on video, Jeff just has his hands like covered on his face. We were joking. We're like, when we write job descriptions, we want to say like, working at Beach Commute will be easy. Like, you will have a wonderful life. You will travel. You will chill. Get your work done and do whatever the fuck you want. We don't care. So anyway, I just wanted to say, like, that's just a sampling of the jobs that I came across when we were looking, toggling for remote. So again, I'll let Jeff share some of his that he found as well. But as we were looking through like 5 or 6 pages of the first results that came up for marketing and remote, I was not able to find one in that time. Maybe if I looked for 5 more hours, potentially I would find one, potentially not, but didn't find anything. And that's kind of a sampling of what I came across and some of the ones I clicked through. So you clicked through some different ones. Let's hear a few of the descriptions that you did or did not find.
Yeah, just as a spoiler, I didn't find one either. So we're 0 for 6 technically after about a half an hour, combined 1 hour looking. I don't know, maybe we'll do one on the fly and actually find one. I highly doubt it. First one actually looked pretty good. Chief Marketing Officer. It's got the pay range, 100,000 to 160,000. I love it when they include that. Yes. I think that's super, super important to have that. Otherwise, you're just wasting everybody's time. It's like you get through interview number 5, you ask what the pay is, and they say, well, it's not all about pay. It's like, fuck off. Come on. Dude, let's be transparent about this thing. Yeah, okay, so going through the job description here, requirements, responsibilities. Okay, all good. Everything looks pretty standard. And then at the very bottom, this role is available for remote workers based either in the United States, Europe, or the United Kingdom. So first off, it wouldn't go into the Anywhere Atlas because it's just. And the second problem here is that it doesn't say if you actually get hired as a citizen from one of those locations, if you can move to other locations, like if you can go
travel to any of those locations.
Right,
that's
very
unclear still.
So
why?
I went through the job listing,
unclear?
And then, of course, because you can't click through to the company through LinkedIn, I had to find the actual company through a Google search, found their careers page, and read through it, and there's no detail about remote work, and it says the exact same thing. Like, the careers page is just the job listings. It doesn't say anything about culture, about perks, benefits, none of that stuff. I click on the actual job listing, and it's the same exact thing. You have to be within United States, Europe, or the UK. So that one's out. No dice on that one. Bummer. Looked good. Second one was a company called Kismet. This one's a growth marketing manager. Again, lists the salary range up to 170,000. It's great. It's a 1 to 10 person company. Okay, that's kind of cool. So looking through here, it says it's fully remote, right? So I'm not having any problems yet. And unfortunately, there's no detail in the job listing that says you can work from anywhere. It just says remote, right? So this is what you see with like 95% of these. It just says remote, but you're not like how remote?
From where? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
how restricted am I?
It's like when you go to a restaurant and you're like, they say it's fresh food. It's like, well, how fresh? and why are you saying that? What are you hiding? What's hidden in there? So I go to their website and there's no careers page. There's like
That's just sketchy.
Yeah.
If it's a really small company, I don't think it's that strange because maybe they're just not hiring that often and don't need it yet. So I would say that makes sense. But if it's like a really large company and they don't, then you're like, is this even a real company? Like, does it exist? I don't know.
Yeah. You know what I really like is saying, like, regardless of the company size, and we should probably do this too, but we should have like a full-blown careers page that just clearly states the values that you have with regards to hiring employees, like what you're looking for out of an employee, how you feel about like the company culture, all that kind of perks, benefits. We've seen so many good ones that now that I see these bare bones ones, like, all right, do better. Anyways, bare bones page. It just has the listings, and I'm looking at the same one on the website. So it's basically the same job listing, a little bit more detailed. At the very top, it says fully remote. Okay, good. So far it seems like it's fully remote. And then I go to the very bottom here, location/work environment. They are a remote first company. So obviously they're using a recruiter to create these job listings for them. Red flag for me. Providing the flexibility to primarily work from home. Collaboration. Oh, but wait, it gets better. Collaboration and face-to-face interaction are highly valued. And team members are expected to attend in-person meetings at the San Diego offices quarterly.
That's the one that says fully remote.
That's a hybrid, right?
That makes zero sense.
That's a hybrid job, isn't it? Yeah.
I think so. Especially when it says primarily, that is not fully remote. That is sometimes remote. And then when it says like you're actually rewarded basically for being in person, like that's not remote. I don't want to be rewarded for being in person if that's what I'm looking for, right?
No,
like
you're not even rewarded. You're required. They'll fire you if you don't go into their San Diego office.
Yeah, that's insane. So anyway, this is important because as you are out in the world looking for a fully remote job that you can do from anywhere, we just want you to know that it is very confusing out there. If you are having these same experiences, it's not because you don't know maybe you don't yet know what you're looking for, but it's not because you're doing anything wrong, you're searching wrong. The point is that like as Jeff and I, experts in this, who cannot tell you how many remote job listings and companies and careers pages we have looked at as we've built out the Anywhere Atlas that has the actual work from anywhere companies. It's hard out there. It's confusing out there. So it doesn't make sense. Like again, when you're looking on LinkedIn, this is why like take it with a grain of salt if you've been searching and you feel like you're putting in these hours. When you're going there and you find a company, it says fully remote on the little shorthand, and then when you click through, it still says fully remote. Then you have to go to the company and it still says fully remote. You scroll to the bottom and it says what Jeff just found. Like it's all very misleading, and there's very few companies as a whole who really truly let you work from anywhere, and then these job listings on top of that make it really, really hard to understand which companies actually let you and which don't.
That's a good point. And then I got one that got really, really close here. Ivy.ai. Let me just do that one real quick. All right,
okay.
Let's take a second. Ivy.ai. This is for a marketing director. No salary range. Bummer. 51 to 200 employees. Reading through it, it says location remote. All right. Still, again, a little bit vague. And then there's a line under the job summary. It says, this is a remote position offering flexibility and the opportunity to work from anywhere. That's the language that we're always looking for. Work from anywhere. I love that. That to me is like 100 out of 100. That is so clear, and that is exactly what you want to hear. Unfortunately, you can only. I can't really confirm that this is 100% true because a lot of times you have to read through the entire job listing, or you have to go to the careers page, and they will say something like you can work from anywhere, but quarterly you have to do this. You can work anywhere but these countries, that kind of thing, and they don't have a careers page. So I actually couldn't put this on the Anywhere Atlas without a careers page.
Yeah, but theoretically this one has the best chance of any that we found that maybe we maybe found one work from any role of, again, we did not look through the 9,000 jobs to be fair, but it's just frustrating when like this is what you're looking for and when you search for the first 100 or so, like this is maybe what you're finding, and that's if you got to that one. Like it's frustrating just to have to click through so many of those to do your research to figure it out. So yeah, it's just I think again my biggest takeaway, I'm curious what yours is from this, Jeff, of if you're looking at this, one, to me, LinkedIn is not the place to find the work from anywhere roles. To me, LinkedIn is a great place once you have those work from anywhere companies. I love LinkedIn as a tool to use as the way it was originally created, which is to connect with real people. So you go to the company that you know is work from anywhere, find people who work there, reach out to them, learn about who they are, how did they get to where they are, how did they make this transition, what is it like to work for there, and then use that as a way to get a job there, right? Then they can submit, your resume and say, hey, like you should look at this person for a role, or maybe they know an open role and can connect you to the hiring manager, something like that. So I say use LinkedIn in the way it was originally meant to be used. But if you're just searching it as a job board, really, really unhelpful when you're looking for these work from anywhere, like travel friendly roles that you can live as a digital nomad if you want. So what's your kind of overall takeaway from this?
Yeah, my takeaway is it's just still kind of, I've said this before, I feel like the online job listing space is kind of the wild, wild west. There's really no oversight over it. So you can kind of say whatever you want to say to attract whatever talent you want to. And that would be, the top talent is typically remote, and they're typically looking for remote talent. So they're kind of getting away with being remote, and as you've seen, not actually being fully remote. So I would say, you can find tons of jobs on there, but it's a huge mirage. Like we saw 9,000 job listings. That sounds great, right? Sounds like so much opportunity. Yeah. But it's not, because as you go through it, it's like that took half an hour of your time, half an hour of my time, and we found possibly one without it doesn't even have a careers page. So I don't even know any more detail about it. So you can do this times 9,000, right? And it's just so exhausting, It really is not a good. It really needs a clean up, right? But if you think about it, this whole online job board thing is relatively new, so it's just it's going to be messy as it evolves. So it's understandable, but it's still really a mess. It's very difficult.
It sort of reminds me of, you say that, if you think about like the food industry before there was requirements of like nutrition and labels, and I still have a lot of qualms with that, but it almost reminds me like if you took a package and it was like no sugar, and you looked on the back and it's like 21 grams of sugar, and you're like, what? I thought this said no sugar. It's like it's kind of like that to me. So imagine like looking through the whole grocery store and it's just like a lie on the front, or it like says what you want, and then it's like not really, So anyway, that's my sort of take on it. Before we started this episode, I was like, I wanted to make sure, as you were listening, get a lot of value from this episode, and you didn't just get frustrated and hear us say, like, here's all the reasons you're never going to find a remote job. So I would say LinkedIn, not the place to look. And we wanted to approach it and show you kind of walking through what that actually looked like, because that was a question that somebody literally brought to us, and means you may or may not probably, do have the same question. As a second option, there are remote-only job boards. I would say this is slightly better. Like it's like a little bit better place to look than LinkedIn, because not as many companies. I just think LinkedIn, like everyone who's anyone is just publishing jobs to LinkedIn. It's easy, it's free, it's whatever. But on these remote job boards, and you can just do a Google search for a remote job board, see if it comes up. I'd say, again, it's 5% better, maybe 10%, 20% would be really generous to get rid of some of those companies that like really just aren't, but you're still going to have the same problem of like they're remote from the US, or the remote from a specific country, or the remote with, it's sort of that work from home potential that you may or may not have to go in sometimes. So you're still going to find a lot of the same caveats. The third option is the Anywhere Atlas. This is something that we've put together here at Beach Commute, and we created it because truly it didn't exist. For the past 3-4 years, we've been sending out work from anywhere job opportunities, and we have a team of remote work experts who are scouring these types of remote job boards, tapping into our friends, our network of digital nomads, our personal and professional networks, to find companies and job listings at that day, that time, that are actually like truly like we've vetted and let you work from anywhere. And we took that, we made that into one database that has only these work from anywhere companies. When we tell you, like, if you think about the headache that Jeff and I laughingly just went through for the last 30 minutes, we have done like hundreds of hours of this on the back end. And even with the companies that had some work from anywhere roles, we then said, if it's not 100%, like if any role at that company can't be done from anywhere, mostly if these companies on their websites aren't fully saying like, you can work from anywhere, you can travel while you work, we prioritize this, we let our people work from all over the world, like work from wherever you're happy. It really needs that type of language and confirmation to make it onto the Anywhere Atlas. So it's really the only place, and Jeff and I can say, like, if something else exists like out there, we've never seen it, we don't know it, we'd love to have it, we'd love for you to have it, but we created it and still monitor it every day, add companies, remove companies if anything changes, because we want you to have a one-stop shop and a place where you can really truly go and say, I want to travel while I work, or at least have the permission to cross borders to try, even if you want to go to India to visit a family member 1 month of the year. It doesn't matter, like whatever you want to do with that time. If you want to travel every week, every month, whatever you want to do. The Anywhere Atlas is a place that has only those companies, and then we send out daily alerts with jobs that are hiring from those companies, and you can browse through and find the ones that you love as well. So anything, and if you want to check that out, it's beachcommute.com/atlas. Anything you want to add to that, Jeff, of how people might use it, what might be helpful, or anything maybe I left out that someone who's ready to find the fully remote job that really lets, them work for anywhere, what would you say?
We go through that process that you just talked about actually qualifying a company to get into the Anywhere Atlas. And then we go through a second round of reviewing of that company, and we will score them based on 4 different factors. So we'll score them based on their overall culture, and we've got a rubric, a set of guidelines for how to score against how much do they emphasize their employees and what kind of language do they use that's very, very employee-centric, right? And then we've also got peer review, so scoring based on what people are saying about actually working for the organization currently and in the past. We've also got scoring on perks. So there are a whole bunch of perks that companies can offer you, like 4-day work weeks, flexible hours, unlimited PTO, all that kind of stuff. And we've rated them, or rather kind of scaled them based on how important we think that each one of those are, and we'll add up all of the perks that they're going to offer you and give you an overall score of, so you can look at one company and say, oh, this company gives all of these perks, and they're all listed out, by the way, and this one gives just a few. I want to work for a company that gives a 4-day work week, or I want to work for a company that provides ongoing paid ongoing training or paid laptops, that kind of thing. All that information's in there, and the extent of the perks they offer are factored into the scoring. And then lastly, we've got the remote culture. So how much do they emphasize a remote culture within their organization? Like, is this part of their business model? When you go to some of these career pages and they say, we were founded as a fully remote company, we embody this, and we embrace this as part of our business model, and this is who we are. Like, that's a huge thing. This is like in their bones. Whereas you've got some other companies where it's just kind of a little bit more passive. It's like we're remote first. We let you work from anywhere, and that's it. It's like, okay, that's great. They qualify because they let you work from anywhere, but it's not like we love this. We are. Right. I saw one of these careers pages that said we are all digital nomads. Like, okay, that's a 5 out of 5.
Yeah.
So with that, we take all of these reviews, these 4 different reviews, average it out, and you get an overall score for each one of the organizations, and you can just go top to bottom. Like, I've got the very top ones that offer the very most, and we've reviewed the highest, and then the bottoms, they're still made it on the list to still let you work from anywhere, but they might not be quite as robust in certain areas than others.
I love it. So if this is something you're interested in, if you're ready to land a job that gives you the freedom to travel anywhere, and by the way, you don't have to sacrifice income for these, right? Like, so many of these have the same salaries you would make as if you were in an office. It's just taking the best of those companies that we've scoured through, filtered through, let you work from anywhere. So check out beachcommute.com/atlas if you're ready to join that. And otherwise, if you're not yet on our email list, check out beachcommute.com/email if you just want to be filled in on new podcast episodes, other information about remote work, where to find remote work, different travel stuff, some of our own travel journeys, our friends' travel journeys, things like that. It's a lot of fun. We share a lot of our personal photos, travel, stuff that's going on, and then you won't miss out on opportunities to find remote jobs and other just tips and helpful ways to help with your resume, to help with remote job search, which remote job to find, anything like that. Just super helpful resources. So beachcommute.com/email. And other than that, Jeff, I feel like we've covered everything, but anything else you want to add?
Nope, that's it. If you got any questions, write us in at hello@beachcommute.com. Podcast suggestions, questions about this episode, anything about travel, jobs, we'd love to hear from you.
We'll see you next week.